And welcome to the Glacially Musical Podcast. It is beer, metal, and swearing. Of course, I am Nick Cameron of Glacially Musical, joined by my good friend, a man who's always got the Wednesday work with a Friday feeling, Kalamazoo Chuck. How we doing today, buddy?
Hanging in there. We both sound sniffly. This is going to be delightful for the
Does anybody
listeners.
get that joke? Does anybody get that one?
I didn't.
When Gibson was working at Kalamazoo in the Kalamazoo factory, you wanted to get a Wednesday guitar because that was after they had gotten over their hangovers and before they started on their Friday, so the Friday feeling was they were thinking about the weekend. That's when guitars like Kirk Hammett of Metallica, because I got to get it in every week, got that's when the Gary Moore guitar was theoretically built, was on a Friday because of the turnaround pickup stuff like that.
By the
So
way, random, when you lean in to make an emphasis, don't, because it cuts out. You might as well just stay right where you are and say your piece. When you lean over for you, it cuts out. But you said Kirk Hammett of Metallica. I
yes,
heard that much. But if you
Kirk
said that,
Hammett of Metallica's guitar, Greenie,
oh, okay.
theoretically was a Friday guitar because
Really?
the pickup is the bridge pickup is out of phase when put into the 59s. Not all of them went out of phase when both pickups were selected. Those were theoretically the Friday guitars because the guys making them were not paying the attention they should have, like on Wednesday.
I get
See,
it.
everybody?
Now I
Then
get
they
it.
went to Nashville and nobody cares because it's all Chinese now. So whatever. So thank you very much for joining us. Here's how we do things. We do a greeting. Hello. We do a beer check. We'll get there. Oh, also, we are here for the debut record of the Electric Mayhem, as alluded to weeks and weeks ago. So, greeting, beer check, vinyl check, news check, shirt check, meat of the episode. However, will admit it, this is a bank chaser, so we are recording this 2 days after our last session, and we don't know when it's going to pop. So we can't do news because you might be getting news that's 8 months old, and then you're going to be like, why are these guys so far behind? So just going to move straight on into the beer check. This is a new beer for me on the podcast. It is a Ring Toss Champs IPA. It is made by Pipeworks Brewing Company. It is an IPA with Sabro and Amarillo hops. What I find interesting about this is I have no idea what those hops are, and that is unusual for me. I don't believe I've ever had them, at least not called out. It is a 5.7% ABV, so it is perfectly crushable in my mind, and it is brewed in Chicago, Illinois.
What is not
As
crushable?
once you get past 6,
6 is not crushable. Okay.
yeah, actually, crushable is 5 and below. Once you get past 6, you gotta take better stock of what you're doing with yourself. Because
So
this is a chaser, I'm going to explain the finger-fudge pour. I have my Gateway Grizzlies pint glass. I attended a Gateway Grizzlies game this past weekend. So finger-fudge pour is straight down the middle. Depending upon how fuzzy your beer is when you stop. What this does, it's not a sexy pour. It takes longer to get it out. However, if any longtime listeners of the podcast will have noticed, I'm not burping all the time like I did when we started because we have been finger fudging the pour. And after the finger fudge pour, less gassy.
less gassy and much more classy. And just getting to see Nick twice in 1 week, I feel like a newlywed couple. Like we're just boning all the time. I see you constantly. Um, I am having,
Whoa!
I am
You should
having.
see the text that I've been sending Keefy, and I really brought that on myself.
That's okay. I am drinking a beer I've had many times and many times on the podcast, but it's just time to have one. That is the Oscar Blues Dale's Pale Ale. I'm a big fan, as you know. Um,
Delicious, delicious
great
beer. The
beer.
Old Chub Scottish Ale
I've
is
not
amazing.
had the old chub on the show. I've had the old chub at a bar,
Have you had the Old Chub?
and I've had the Mama Pills.
You have the Old Chub other ways?
I mean, what I just said, I get to see you twice in 3 days. I have
Oh,
all the chubs, and again, the finger fudge pour, gas in the air, not in your body. I'm sure hipsters will hate that, right? But like bartender TikTok comes through. So I'm gonna do mine and we're gonna cheers it up. I've been drinking
Oh,
another but NyQuil.
did you see the can?
It's a strange looking it's a unicorn with a bunch of
With,
udders. Is that right?
right. No. It's a unicorn with rings on its horn. It's ring
Ring
toss
toss.
champion.
All right. I thought I saw a bunch of peen shaped udders on the
No,
unicorn.
that's the wood behind it. If you look here,
Okay.
you can see he's throwing the ring at the
Oh
unicorn.
yeah, the ring toss game. Okay.
Cheers, my friend. It's good seeing you as always.
Good to see you. Mhm.
A little hazier than I would like on that one. Not worth the $4 I paid for this can.
Yikes.
I thought it was 10 for 4. It was actually 16. I thought, you know what? YOLO or
Yeah.
yeet or whatever the kids say.
Okay.
So I guess we should announce it because this will happen.
Shirt check and then
Hang on, let's wait. Hang on.
okay.
Let's go ahead and announce that Keefy is coming into town to St. Louis in November for the Metallica shows. He's got to buy one ticket. I got one for him. We're gonna hang out for several days. I got a room for him, and get ready for epic loads of podcasts that weekend because they are coming.
Maybe we should do our first live stream after the Metallica show.
At midnight?
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see what kind of shape we're in.
I'll see about that.
All
But
right.
there will be at least one Metallica concert review, possibly 2, maybe 3.
It's
Because
possible.
we could do the first
Yeah.
show.
I'm definitely gonna
second
see the
show.
tour before I get to St. Louis. I'm going to New York, but I'm only gonna probably go once, and it's not gonna be like being there. I'll recap that show on another episode, and then I'll come down a few months later. But I'm definitely coming. Santa Claus is coming to town, and so is I.
I absolutely refuse even to watch any of the live videos. I don't want to
So
know.
I should stop sending those to you in Messenger.
You can go ahead and send them. I'm not clicking on them.
Okay.
If it makes you feel like a big man, to tempt me and to see if I can stay celibate and
They just
stoic.
did an incredible version that they put out today of Harvester of Sorrow from Download Festival.
Yeah, I saw that. You know what I did not do?
Watch it?
Not watch it.
He did not watch it.
Did not watch it. They shared it on the Metallica Facebook page. Saw it. Went, I know that song. I'll see you in 6 months. Click.
Yeah, no problem. If you have the stamina to withhold, you're a better man than I.
We'll see. I have made it. Let's see, the tour has been going on now for a month and a half. I've made it a month and a half. Let's see if I don't know if old Nick's going to go that long, but he's trying. He is trying to hold off so that way the show is the spooginest, bluesinest, whatever. I don't know. I got nothing.
That's what she said. I don't know if Nick's gonna go that long. Oh,
Ooh.
And I have watched every video, every single video, fan videos. I've watched everything to an obsessive degree.
Real quick, if we could just mention the EP they released again. As of this recording, keeping in mind this is a banker, this is not a dropper. So, as of this recording, there is no physical release. There is only an Amazon release. Two live tracks from the current album, 72 Seasons. 2 live tracks that we've had 1,000 times. As of right now, I have no interest, 0 interest in this, and that is very unusual for Metallica and Nick. So it does give me hope that there is possibly going to be a live record off this tour. However, basically every tour nowadays, they release something. There were 2 triple live albums off of the Hardwired tour. I have one of them. I think there was only 1 song difference, so I didn't buy the second.
Well, I mean, as you know, you could get every single show by Metallica.
I know. I'm talking about what I consider to be more
a formal
official
release. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Because I have Metallica live at Webster Hall. There was also Metallica live at Vans in England a few months after. The live at Vans set list was strikingly close to the Webster Hall, so I didn't get it.
Fair enough. I remember those.
But if pause real quick because I don't want to cross any lines. Alrighty, everything I said is not gonna happen. Hooray for unfulfilled promises. It's kind of like sex with me, unfulfilling. Anyway, moving forward onto the vinyl check. So a few months ago, or weeks, I don't know, a modicum of time ago before now, which is 3 to 4 modicums of time before when you hear this. Wow, that's complicated. Recently, we were heading off to the antique mall because the General Grant Antique Mall has reopened. It was once our favorite because it was the closest, and they had a good record seller. I got Radio Chaos there. I got David Gilmour's debut solo record there, and a bunch of great LPs over the years. Doors Waiting for the Sun. It's not the same place, but some of the record vendors are the same. As we were driving up, Bad Company comes on the radio. That Paul Rogers voice, that booming voice, and my wife is singing along to Roger Waters and loving it. I'm sorry, Paul Rogers. Damn it, anyway. Singing to Paul Rogers and having a great time. And I like look at her lovingly, and she looks at me, and I go, "Oh my God, you like Bad Company?" I had no idea. My wife likes Bad Company. Bad Company's a pile of crap and it's terrible. And you should never listen to it. And I said to her, I don't like Bad Company. I like Free. So in the antique mall, they had a copy of whoop, wrong one. Wrong one. Heartbreaker by Free. And just to show her, I bought this record without looking at it real closely. And the thing about Free that I really love is Paul Kossoff, and his ass ain't on this record. It's other kids.
That's great.
It's some dude named Rabbit. Let me know if you know any of these Free tracks. Wishing Well, Come Together in the Morning, Traveling in Style, Heartbreaker, Muddy Water. Seems like instead of writing a track called Muddy Water, you could have just done a Muddy Waters tune. But Common Mortal Man, Easy on My Soul, and Seven Angels.
No
I don't know
idea.
what any of that crap
I don't
is.
know.
Actually, no,
Yes.
Paul.
How much did you pay for this?
Too much. $15.
Oh.
Paul actually plays guitar on 2, 3, 4, and 2 and 4 on side 2. So there's a little bit of Paul, but it ain't no Paul record. And here's the weird one. My child has told me in December on her winter break, she has completely changed as a person. She is a whole new person. I have not figured out what in the world she's talking about. She dressed like a women's studies college professor in November. She dresses like a women's college studies professor now. I have not figured this out. But because she is a whole new person and does not like what she used to like, she returned to me the Replacements record that I purchased for her. I like the Replacements. She has decided she no longer does. This is a 180-gram repressing, which is obviously not something I would have purchased for myself. But being as it was being returned, it is now mine.
Everybody has that moment when they outgrow the thing they liked.
She actually has changed a lot of her musical opinions, which drives me insane because I liked Iron Maiden when I was 8. I like Iron Maiden now.
Well, that's part and parcel of this generation also. Also teenagers physically become a whole different human being literally every 8 months.
Yeah, she is 12 now, so I have to accept that things are not what they were.
That's
what do you
true.
got this week? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, let's check the one vinyl this week, and it's going to come as no surprise because you've seen it last week, or not last week, but a previous episode done by Nick. This is the Muppets album. Now, when you said debut, it's the debut full length because the Muppet, Dr. Teeth, and the Electric Mayhem have performed on every Muppets record, actually, as a band. This actual album, we'll get into it in a few. This is the Record Store Day gatefold. Lovely. I think Nick kind of unboxed it last week.
Wait, no, I didn't. I did not.
Did you not? Because you have
No.
yours. Haha. Oh, I thought you were done.
No, I have it because usually, it's my turn. You did 72 seasons. Oh,
That's fair.
Well, you already got yours up. I'm putting mine.
Yeah, it's fine. I thought you did yours already.
No, I
We
did
can
not
save the
unbox it because
unboxing for the
we
episode meet.
correct.
But
We
yeah.
decided live that we were going to unbox on this episode.
Okay, so that's fine. It's cool. I'm thrilled to have it, and it was the impetus for this chaser. I thought we were going to do anyway when we both talked about this in a prior episode. Many things, many thoughts to share and unpack about the Electric Mayhem.
Well, I mean, I guess if you've got your vinyl check done, let's quickly shirt check Slayer, as you do when listening to the Electric Mayhem.
As you do, I have 20-watt Tombstone. This is
love them. Love them.
Anyone who sees me, this is also I have the hoodie. So this image that you're seeing on the front of this shirt that I rarely wear goes against my hoodie, which is on the back of the hoodie that I wear every day, everywhere, except on this show, except around the house. But
if
love them. They're
quickly,
coming out with new music very soon. I think they have a new
nice
music video out now, actually.
If I could quickly apologize to 20-watt Tombstone, though they're not listening. The last time they were in town, they played at the Whiskey War Festival. James Legg, Hoot and Hollers were playing that night. Mark Porkchop Holder as well. It was a great lineup, and I missed them. I did go up and say hi because I've reviewed them. I've interviewed them. Great band. Great band.
Big fan of Tom. He's great people. And I'm looking forward to their new album. He would probably make a very good guest if we ever wanted to have him on to talk about stuff.
That's probably true. Look at these guns. This shirt's too short.
Niggas flexing today.
I mean, you can see. Ooh, look at how white it gets.
Oh, blinded.
Yeah, I know.
Goodness.
Quickly.
Goodness.
If there's ever been a commercial for listening to us on the podcast, rather the audio version rather than the video, it's my short shirt.
You just missed the blinding whites of Nick's biceps.
Let's move forward and talk about the record itself. I will unbox because it is my turn.
All right.
And this one isn't so bad. It's not like it's Dark Side of the Moon Live with a 58-fold poster that Keefy made me unbox.
Made you.
Yeah, completely. You're like, you're doing it. I'm like, okay. So the Electric Mayhem. Back cover. This is, to quote my good friend Duncan, delightfully psychedelic, as they've always been. It is, of course, a gatefold. More of the goodness, deliciousness that they are. Mine is in the mylar, of course. There is an inner sleeve, which has the tracks along with the legitimate credits of who actually plays on the record. However, Janice plays guitar, Floyd plays bass, Dr. Teeth's on the piano, Zoot is on the sax, Lips is on the trumpet, and the one, the only, the inimitable Animal is on the drums. I don't care what it says in those little bitty words. That's who's playing on this record. Period. Thoughts?
I have many. So music. Let's dial it back for a second for those that maybe they're not somehow got to this podcast and they don't know what the Muppets are and don't know what the Muppet Show is and don't remember the Muppet Show tonight.
Okay, before we do that, now
in the Muppet movies,
we're gonna have no spoilers on the Electric Mayhem Disney Plus show.
I haven't seen it yet, so
correct.
I purposefully have not watched it.
We're having issues with our Disney Plus. Our internet provider has given us a VPN that we don't want, and it's screwing up.
Yeah, that happens.
Things. So we got to fix that. Anyway, going back to Animal was always this mythical creature to me as a child. And I have watched the Muppets Show. I have watched Muppet Babies. I have watched Muppets Tonight. I have watched The Muppets. And I have watched, what was the last one? The streaming show with Joe from Legal, Joe the Legal Weasel, which my wife, the attorney, thinks is the greatest character literally of all time. And I had to buy her a Joe the Legal Weasel t-shirt. Actually, two, because the first one got stained. But I love the Muppets. I love I think my favorite show was The Muppets, which was the show about the Piggy's talk show, which lasted one season. It was a reboot that was the perfect kind of reboot. It's a reboot where they went into the future and they were doing a new thing. Electric Mayhem was still the house band. Piggy was still the star. Kermit was the producer. I don't know why it only lasted one season. I am flabbergasted by that. But Dave Grohl was on it, Jack White, Joan Jett. Those are the three musical guests that I can think of off the top of my head. And Animal and Dave Grohl had a drum off.
Grohl lost. He loses every drum off. I don't know if you noticed
at
that.
the end, I did not know that. At the end of the drum off, they look at each other and say, "You win." And it was just, I mean, just seeing the stars of, that would be in our generation, seeing how much they love the Muppets too was a nice touch.
I concur. So yeah, the Muppets are the outgrowth, the offshoot, the spin-off of the Sesame Street, the Jim Henson children's television workshop show from the 70s. Yes, Kermit the Frog is from Sesame Street.
Rolf is from a Ralston Purina commercial.
That yes, but I'm just saying, like, the show, the reason it exists is because of the popularity of Sesame Street and Kermit the Frog, and the Muppet movie probably right around the same time.
No, the Muppet movie was much later. It was after this. It was in like 79 or 80.
Okay. So,
which I have a British version of the soundtrack. It's just what they had at the store. It wasn't. Okay. I wasn't like trying to get it.
So, yeah, the Muppet Show is insane and great, and brought all these new characters to life.
First season was pretty terrible. Just gonna.
It was
in the first season. The first season did not even have the Electric Mayhem.
No, they came later. And there's a lot of weird stuff. Like, you could get away with a lot on a variety show with Muppets as opposed to a children's educational show.
That was filmed in England.
Yeah. And there's still most of them have passed, but there's still a couple of original voices and puppeteers doing the Electric Mayhem band today, which is mind-blowing. A lot of them have passed, but a few are still around. And they were, they're there for a comedy. I don't know if you want to go in deep on each character in addition to the track by track. I
would just say, who is your favorite member of Electric Mayhem? Let's start there.
I mean, can I have a tie? Because
no, you gotta pick one.
I have to pick one, huh?
One. I have mine. If you want me to go first, I'll go first.
You can go first. That's fine.
My favorite character is Janice.
I knew you were going to say that too.
What I love about Janice is that she is she's genuinely what I try to be. She is unapologetically herself. She might be crazy. And by might, I mean, she's totally nuts. My favorite line of hers is, "I don't go scuba diving because I think that's an invasion of fish privacy." And okay, whatever, Janice. I get you. But she is exactly herself. My favorite version of Janice is from the Muppets, from the ABC show.
She's a bit of a fallacious woman. I'm not casting aspersions. She's allowed to do it. She's a hippy-dippy person, so she can be a free spirit physically. Yes, but she definitely has dated just about the entire band except Animal.
Well, there was an episode with Kristen Chenoweth on the Muppets where Kristen Chenoweth says to Floyd and Janice, "Oh, I love you two together." And Janice is like, "Oh no, we're not together. I don't put any labels on anything." At which point Floyd goes, "Wait a minute, what is this? I closed my Tinder for you." Oh wow.
It's great. You did the voices very well. That sounds hauntingly familiar to my own personal life. Very scary.
Sorry.
Kill Nick. How long you guys been together? Not at all. Yeah, that's my life, but that's okay. It's not bad. You can't put labels on everything, and you can't make people do what they don't want to do. Gotta just
I can't.
ride the lightning and ride the wave,
Whoa.
chase the rainbow. So yeah, then it's Floyd is surely my favorite member of the band because Floyd, he's literally named for Pink Floyd.
And dressed like a beetle.
And dressed like a beetle and is the lead singer of most of the songs. I know there's an because it's Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, there's an impression that he is somehow the leader of the band, but Dr. Teeth himself gave an interview in which he said there is no front person of the band. We are all the front person, which is amazing. And
The
said
Kiss
nothing a
theory.
lead singer would ever say, so it must be true.
But he is the owner of the band.
Yes.
And in the same episode, he mentions this is my band, and if you don't like it, you can get out of the band now. It's my band, it's my van, and if you don't like it, you can get out of the band now, and I'll keep your paycheck. At which point Animal responds with, "Wait, you guys get paid?"
Right. There's a long running belief. There's a whole Reddit thread like about this band, like about this record, about this show, about the Dr. Teeth. There's a running theory that Animal is actually Floyd's pet. And there's a lot of credence to this, that Animal is not his own person, but he is a creature owned.
In the Muppets, there was an episode where they're like, "Are you going to go back on tour?" He's like, "No, too many towns, too many women." No, he's not Floyd's pet. He's just uncontrollable.
That may be. And then Dr. Teeth is supposed to be modeled after Dr. John, which makes a lot of sense when you hear the voice. Very flamboyant, very Tipitina's, New Orleans, French Quarter.
Well, the band is officially from New Orleans.
Nola,
which is where they met up with Kermit and Fozzie in the Muppet movie, which is the Muppet movie is the origin story of the troupe. And
is that Kermit the Great Muppet Caper?
No, the Muppet movie.
Okay.
The Great Muppet Caper was later.
Oh, okay.
And I also, for some reason, which makes no sense, conflate that one with the Muppets Take Manhattan.
Also different.
Even though those storylines are not remotely similar.
Which is a worse movie, by the way? Rate the worst movie: Muppets Take Manhattan or Jason Takes Manhattan?
Jason Takes Manhattan.
It's so bad. Oh my god.
Friday the 13th Part 8 took everything that made Jason scary and took it to ad absurdum. It's like, somebody would see Jason and run away and he'd show up behind them, like in the field. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's possible. In Jason Takes Manhattan, he's a co-ed sees him on the street with the machete, which, I mean, it's New York and there's no one there. Don't trust that. It's Manhattan specifically. That's like saying Jason takes Tokyo and he gets into Akihabara and Japan is asleep. No, that's not. So then the co-ed goes back into the skyscraper, which she can get into, and then goes all the way up to the 78th floor. It gets to the roof and goes, "I did it." And there's Jason. He not only is he is now teleporting. He is No, that movie is terrible. The Muppets Take Manhattan is amazing. I am angry at you for comparing these two things. One is a triumph of cinema, which deals with amnesia, frogs' legs, reflexes, not eating, other frogs in advertising, and the Broadway plays. We have been threatening a Broadway chaser or run for however long we've been doing this. Maybe we're doing it now, interspersed with a Jason Takes Manhattan trailer, so you have to watch it again. I will stink palm you with Jason Takes Manhattan. It's a small price to pay for the smiting of one's enemies. What were we talking about before I got onto this?
I don't remember.
Okay, fair enough. Janice clearly is the best.
Okay. Well,
now, yes, we should point out that they are all modeled after other musicians. Animal, I don't know what that's all about. Floyd, yes, he is a Beatle. He is also Pink Floyd. Then you have Zoot, who has been in, I would say Zoot is basically every saxophone player in every rock band ever. Then you have Lips, who is basically he's basically Carlos Santana. Then you have, I guess that is all of them. That's all six. Yeah, it's six because it's the standard four plus the horns. The standard's four from the 70s. I mean, everybody had an electric piano player in the 70s.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
What is the first song? I guess. What is the first song you remember them playing?
I mean, can you picture that as the song everybody knows?
Yeah, agreed. Aurora Borealis, shining down in Dallas. I'd go to Texas for that. I wouldn't go to Texas for much, but I go to Texas for that.
I agree.
So I
It's
guess we.
they're great. They're interwoven in the history of the Muppets, playing the theme songs in the movies, popping up in different places. So they are beloved. Um, very popular on their own. And you mentioned the Muppet Babies cartoon. Animal is the only band member to transform into the show as an original existing
Well,
character.
Muppet Babies came after. That was
Yeah,
a Saturday morning cartoon in the 80s. And it really, oh my God, I'm going to become this guy. Thank you. Like, I don't know if I have a neck beard for what I'm about to say. Uh, I would not call the Muppet Babies canon because, yeah, it's Animal's there. Animal was not their friend growing up. And then there's also Skeeter, which doesn't even exist. Skeeter exists in no other Muppet medium. They never brought her back. So, whatever that is. Although Barbara Billingsley played Nanny in the Muppet Babies, that was Barbara Billingsley, which is
doesn't
TV's
yeah,
June Cleaver.
right. Didn't yeah. I was young.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
I learned it much later. I mean, I didn't know it then.
Shall we
Although I did watch Leave It to Beaver then.
shall we jump into the track by track?
Let's go ahead and do it. Some of the tracks are frankly better than others
Oh,
and more memorable than others. I'm going to spoil this a little bit. I do love this record. I am happy to have it. Just keep in mind that this is not a proper record. And yeah, so I'll leave it at that and we'll just move forward. Do we want to talk about the personnel on the record or no?
it's up to
Can
you.
you hear?
It's up to you.
I have it.
Go for it.
We'll point out that Ringo Starr plays on the Ringo Starr track they cover, which is nice. Let's see, where is it? Credits. Oh, here, where are they? Performer credits. Bill Barretta as Dr. Teeth, Matt Vogel as Floyd Pepper, David Rubin as Janet. David Rubin as Janet, dude. Eric Jacobson as Animal, Dave Gales as Zoot, and Peter Linz as Lips. All instruments on tracks 2, 3, 5 through 6, 11, and 12 are by Steve Morrell. So one dude played basically half of this record. Electric guitar, acoustic guitar, organ on 10, 1, 4, and 10, 14, Packy Lundholm, saxophones, Hannah Friedman. I'm going to stop because this list gets real long. Nobody, apart from Mr. Morrell, nobody plays on a bunch of tracks. They bring in session musicians for here and there. I'm going to point out this record is a truncated version of the soundtrack. This is not the soundtrack to the television show. The
No,
soundtrack to the television show is much longer.
there's
It's
a
actually
Spotify list that's like 70 songs.
well the official soundtrack, the Muppets Mayhem music from the Disney Plus original series is 22 tracks. There are 8 extra tracks that are not here. This and a bunch of them are just like little bitty nothing businesses. Zoots, Suits, the Muppets Mayhem, and credits. Mayhem. It does have All You Need Is Love, which would be nice. Making Mayhem, which makes me wonder if they started to do Making Love and screwed up. But other than that, the only track that I'm really upset that is not here is All You Need Is Love by the Beatles cover. It would have been cool if they had
Probably a
done
lot of
that.
money. to put that out. A lot of
No,
money.
no. You could covers are. It's a set price for everybody. It's the
Okay.
publishing that gets
Let's
you.
let's bang through the track by track on the physical. I'll run off the names. You comment.
Fair enough.
We're both not feeling our best, so I feel like this is going to be a shorty.
Where are we at?
Um,
We're at about 35,
yeah,
36-ish
I'm
now.
feeling
So
pretty crappy, so I think we're gonna call it early, possibly. I'm starting to fade, but I want to power through. So I'm gonna pull up the track by tracks, and you give me some feedbacks. How's that
sure
sound?
enough,
Just trying to find where my
I've got the tracks if you want me to just
yeah, I
repeat
got
them.
it. I got it here.
Okay.
Okay. The album starts with one of the singles, "Rock On," which is not Michael Damian's "Rock On" or the other "Rock On," but this "Rock On."
They tended to use a lot of titles that were reminiscent or similar to other titles.
Any thoughts on
So
this track?
it's a good opening track. It's call it an introduction track. It's not really, but you get a good idea of what this is. This band is a 70s, prog psychedelic everything band. Basically, they're a band for a late night TV show. And so that they perfectly cast it, perfectly wrote it. There's no specific writing credit on this one. So moving forward.
Moving forward, "Gotta Be" is track number 2.
No thoughts on this one. I really don't remember it. And
It's
I've
pretty
listened to this
nondescript.
today.
Nondescript.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier. The covers on this record are much better than most of the originals. And Gotta Be is a great example of that, as is the succeeding track, which is
Well, True Colors, the cover, the Cyndi Lauper cover, has been done a million times. It's actually decent. I like it.
no, it is not decent, and I hate you for saying it's only decent. It is sung by the goddess herself, Janice.
Oh, Nicholas, it's fine.
No, it's not.
Um,
No, none of this is fine. We are enemies now.
all right. You have been
This
listening to
no.
the Glacially Musical Podcast. This relationship is over.
Why do you keep trying to end these early?
I'm sorry. I don't feel well today.
I hear you. Sound of Us,
Eh,
nondescript for me.
the
I mean,
next track is "Have a Little Faith in Me" by John Hyatt with, yeah, solid.
this is a good one. Dr. Teeth sings this one, if memory serves. And I love that Louis Armstrong, that gravelly voice that I kind of feel like we've lost in this modern era and this crazy modern world of auto tune and production techniques. Give me that rock and roll sass.
That's true. I like it. This is a track I wasn't too familiar. This is "Joined Together" by The Who.
Yeah, I
Cover.
had no idea this was a Who track.
Yeah, I have no. It's okay.
I'm not a big Who fan either, though.
Neither am
So
I. We discussed this. The aforementioned "We Are One" is next, featuring Ringo Starr on the drums.
which is awesome. I mean, I'm not the biggest Beatles fan in the world. I appreciate the revolutionary tendencies that they did to create the long playing record, not the technology but the setup, as it were, not just a collection of singles. And I got a couple of their records, but I mean the fact that a Beatle showed up to play with some puppets,
Pretty great.
yeah, pretty
Ringo
great.
is always a win. We'll just put it that way.
Correct.
Then the best song by the band, the best song on this record, the best song ever.
is
Can you
this the
picture that?
is this the original recording?
I think it's a new recording for this current thing.
The impression I am under, this is a new recording feature, because I don't believe there are any original members on this album, the original actors portraying any of them. And I this lacks the charm of the original. And I part of I mean I don't remember if I think I bought this record before we were doing our vinyl checks. Not Electric Mayhem, but the Muppet movie. And I specifically bought that record for $25, which is a little crazy if you think about that, because it's not that great. Love the Muppets. They're not Monty Python. They're not comedy necessarily. So, but I spent $25 on it because one, it was Father's Day, and what I wanted to do for Father's Day was go out and buy records, and my wife was not there to go, Nick, do you really want to do that? I mean, whenever she's naggy in my brain, she becomes Marge Simpson, but she is not Marge Simpson even
You should
remotely.
not do that on a podcast that's recorded forever. Anyway,
She doesn't listen. It's fine.
oh God.
No,
By
she.
the way, we flipped the record with Can You Picture
Oh
That?
yeah,
So we're
one
on
on
to
side
side
two.
two.
Uh,
Yeah, it's just a great song. Let's just leave it at that. We don't have
all
to.
right, I'll stop.
We need to hustle this bustle.
I dropped my phone, so it's on you.
I'm going from the back of the vinyl because I think the Wikipedia is wrong. And we've been wrong before with Wikipedia. So God Only Knows, the cover, the classic Beach Boys song, is the second track on side two, number 9 overall. How do you feel about this one?
No strong feelings. I felt it was a little nondescript. I'm pulling out the vinyl so I can see the tracks
Okay,
because my phone is on the floor.
no problem. Number 10 is On Our Way, and that's also pretty nondescript, and I don't feel any way about this one.
Most of the original tracks on this record, I don't really feel all kinds of ways.
They're
They
fillers.
didn't. Yeah, they're fillers. It's but they tracked it in a way. They tracked it perfectly.
It is. Surprisingly great. The Simon and Garfunkel cover of Bridge Over Troubled Water. I did not know I needed this in my life, but I did.
I need everyone to cover this track. This because I feel like if we get the complete rainbow coalition of covers of Bridge Over Troubled Water, we will all be better humans.
Fair enough. Number 5 on side 2, number 12 overall, Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss.
The Gem. Who sings it? Animal and Floyd, I believe.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, it is. And I remember months ago, before everything dropped, this was the second single off the record, I think, or at least they teased it. And I remember on the Kiss forum, people going, "Oh my God, the Muppets are covering Kiss. This is so wrong." And I'm like, "Are you nuts? That's awesome." Animal singing the Gene Simmons part.
He did it well.
Yo, he did. He did.
Closing the record out, 2 nondescript guys. Gonna Get There and Believe in Us.
Yeah, Believe in Us is a good album closer. If it's a good album closer, if you're not going to make any more albums, because frankly, it does not leave you wanting more.
Ouch, but true.
It's as an EP, if it's just the covers and the one original from the Muppet movie, this record is amazeballs, phenomenal, and unforgettable. A lot of the original tracks on here are just, it's like they went to Virgin Records and pulled out their 1987 songbook and said, cover this, 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 and this.
That's okay. I'm not mad at it. I love this. I'm glad I bought it. The vinyl is neat looking. And do we show it the vinyl? Do you want to show your vinyl really quick?
I'll pop it up.
Before
I think we did earlier, but it is a cool purple and blue.
It's beautiful.
It is what I really dig is when it's because this is a transparent purple, not a translucent. And with the dead wax is completely clear. I can see Keefy through the dead wax. And when it does that, the grooved part, I think, looks a lot cooler. And one of the things I think I have talked about multiple times is different colors, different pressings. The colored pressings are a lot like minor league hockey jerseys, specialty jerseys. They're going to sell that same jersey to every league. If you're doing if one team in your league is doing a Christmas jersey, that's happening in every other league too. And this is not something I've ever seen. I've seen this kind of thing, the transparent to it's translucent to the grooves with the smoke, the smoky color on the inside. It's a really cool color. It's the right color for, I think it's a great evocation of the particular Muppets in this band. Better than the Target exclusive, which I believe is green.
That's the one everybody wanted, by the way, the green on Reddit. That's the
What
one,
I love
the holy
about
grail. But I like the
what I
purple.
love is not giving two craps about that kind of stuff.
Right on. I'm feeling kind of faint and flushed. Anything else you want to go before we end this abruptly?
No,
So I don't pass out on camera.
last thing I'll say is it's not the greatest record in the world. It's not it's half of it's really great, half of it's really on the record. And even though I absolutely love it, absolutely thrilled that I've got it. It's a great pressing. It sounds good. I mean, it sounds like a modern record. It doesn't sound like, an OG record. But my only real complaint on this album is that they re-recorded Can You Picture That rather than using the original perfect recording of Can You Picture That. But I have that on the soundtrack, so horses for courses, whatever. But that is everything I got. Keefy's not feeling well, so give it a pound it up front and don't talk. So there we go. Thank you, Keefy, for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for coming in with us. We are talking about the motherfudging Muppets, Dr. Teeth, the Electric Mayhem, and frankly, our childhoods. Our childhood, and when I say our childhood, I mean all of us. It is a sacrosanct space. And when something like the Muppets it's a generational force. They come back every 7 to 9 years. So there is a Gen X Muppets, the Muppet Show. There is a millennial Muppets, Muppets Tonight. There is a Gen Y, is that a thing? Gen Y Muppets, the Muppets. There is a Gen Z Muppets, the streaming show, which I still can't remember the name of. And now there is finally a Muppet spinoff, the Electric Mayhem. They finally released their album. They've finally done something interesting, and they have done it well. They have not made me. It's the exact same characters. It's the exact same attempted voices, and they did an amazing job, even if all the songs weren't 100% amazing. So thank you to Disney for making this. And I don't thank Disney very often. I want to punch them in the crotch most days. Because I mean, I've seen Mulan, I've seen it all. It's terrible. Their movies are terrible. But I will say this to everybody. Thank you very much for listening. This is the Glacially Musical Podcast. Follow us everywhere. We don't play in Peoria.